To our beloved viewers, please press the notification bell, subscribe, and share our YouTube channel. Thank you for the support. You may leave comments and suggestions to improve our performance. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Greetings to Ms. Farida Binti Razali, the Director of Fully Residential School Management Division, Ministry of Education Malaysia. Haja Nur Hayati Binti Yusuf, the excellent principal of Skolatul Fatimah, distinguished guests, teachers, mentors, facilitators, fellow Maya 22 participants, and most respected loyal viewers, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good afternoon I bid to all. I am Nina Kisya binti Muazmi, and your MC for today. Welcome to the 10 Malaysia International Young Inventors Olympiad 2022. On this lovely afternoon, we shall witness another distinguished program hosted by Skolatul Fatimah in collaboration with the Fully Residential School Management Division, Ministry of Education Malaysia, a webinar entitled STEM Employment Requirements in the Era of Industrial Revolution 4.0. Firstly, I would like to introduce our moderator for today's webinar. She is Madam Maryam binti Ahmad Syah, an active participant in many STEM webinar and activities at state level as well as the national. She is a former master teacher in biology and now holds an administration post as the Senior Administration and Curriculum at SMK Tamai University too. Before I hand over the event to Madam Maryam to get the blessings from the Almighty, I would like to start with the recitation of Kitab Al-Fatiha. Amin Amin Ya Rabbal Alamin. Now, I will pass the baton to Madam Maryam.
Most insightful event. Assalamualaikum and a very good afternoon to all online viewers. My name is Maryam and I would like to welcome you to the 10th Malaysia International Young Inventors Olympiad of 2022, as well as today's forum, STEM and Employment in the Era of in the era of 4.0, revolution technology of 4.0. Today I would like to express my most gratitude to STF and the team of MIO for inviting us and give this opportunity to participate in the Olympiad and the forum for today. And what is actually the title for today's forum? The STEM and Employment in IR 4.0. So we are focusing on this IR 4.0. So what is actually IR 4.0? So simply put, it is like it is the fourth industrial revolution, the next evolutionary stage following the third, second, and first industrial revolutions. So the term was first introduced as Industry 4.0 in 2011 as a project in the high-tech strategy of the German government, which promotes the computerization of manufacturing. The term was publicly introduced at the Hanover Fair the same year. Since then, the revolution has spread to other countries, including our nation, Malaysia. As the world embraces IR 4.0, we have seen the rising adoption of new technologies in our daily lives, with digitalization being the key to this growth. While this innovation represents progress, it may impact the current workforce, especially in how people interact with technology to perform their daily activities. Dependence on human energy is decreasing as robotic technology begins to take over the human role. It is estimated that about 4.5 million jobs could be displaced in Malaysia by 2030, and globally, this figure may rise to 800 million. On the other hand, it is also predicted that about 6 million new jobs will be created in Malaysia during the same period, and this calls for the workforce to be equipped with digital knowledge and related skills to adapt to the rapid growth and rapid changes in the technology landscape. Now, due to this issue, our forum is to objectively point out our level of readiness in molding our current children with the necessary STEM knowledge and skills to meet the employment requirements in the era of IR 4.0. So, without further ado, I would like to introduce to you our honorable panels today, who are amongst the best to share their experiences and views from respective platforms on our topic today: STEM and employment requirements in the era of IR 4.0. Our first panel is Dr. Ihsan Ismail, Deputy Chief Secretariat in Technical, Digital Education Policy Secretariat, Ministry of Education, a senior officer at the Ministry of Education Malaysia with 20 plus years of experience, entrusted with the responsibility to establish and lead the National STEM Center, Ministry of Education, in 2018 until April 2021. Then given the responsibility to establish a new division known as Digital Education Policy Secretariat from May 2021, a key member of the Digital Education Policies Development Team, and currently serves as a governing board member of Senior Regional STEM Education Center from 2019 to 2022. Also a member of consultative meeting for the establishment of Senior Regional STEM Education Center in Bangkok in 2017, and a resource person to Senior Exams midterm review on the 10th five-year development plan workshop in 2018, representing Malaysia in the Senior Innotech governing board meeting in Da Nang, Vietnam in 2019. Took part in Senior Exam Regional Workshop in Education 4.0 for 3 years in a row, 2020-2022. Attended Educational Leadership Enhancement Program organized by the Institute Aminuddin Baki, or IAB, in 2021. So if I continue to talk about his professional contributions, it will be one whole day. So welcome to the forum, Dr. Ihsan.
Thank you, Madam.
So the second panel today is specially brought to you by Kenyalang Air, Mr. Raymond Maurice, anak Stephan Bujang. He is currently the Assistant Director of Science in Science and Mathematics Unit in Sector of Learning, Sarawak State Education Department. He graduated with a Bachelor of Science Honours in Marine Science from the University of Malaysia, Terengganu. He also holds a postgraduate certificate in the practice of English language teaching from ELTC, and a postgraduate diploma in science education from IPG TAR. Due to his attachment and his line of work in educational management and administration, he had also secured an MD, in a Master of Education in Management from IPG, from Sultan Idris Education University, or UPSI. He started his career as a teacher in 2008, teaching STEM subjects in school at PPD Kapit and PPD Serian. In 2018, he joined Bau District Education Office, PPD Bau, and served as an academic supervisor for science and mathematics in the academic management unit. He was in 2016. He was attached to Sarawak State Education Department as an assistant director and entrusted to coordinate STEM education initiatives in Sarawak as the office in charge. Welcome to the forum, Mr. Raymond.
Thank you, Maryam,
Okay.
for the introduction.
All right. So this is an online event, and I hope we can conduct the forum smoothly from now to the end. Okay. So without taking too long time on introduction, I would like to start our forum with a question to our first panel, which is Dr. Ihsan. So my question is, would you like to give your point of view, some introduction on the topic, especially on the job landscapes to 2025 from now? Yes, Dr. Ihsan?
Thank you, Ms. Maryam. First of all, I would like to thank the organizer, all the students who take part in this event. Congratulations to all of you. And to the principals of ISTF, this is actually a very good program, a very good event that will definitely beneficial for all students. All right. In terms of fourth industrial revolution, I'm sure all of you are aware that we are now in the era of fourth industrial revolution, where it is actually a very different from what we used to live, especially for me and those who are around my age. Previously, when we were in secondary schools, it is totally different, not like now. But due to the changes in technology, especially, we call it digital disruption. So we can see there are a lot of things happening, and it reshape how we work, how we do our work, how we communicate, how we learn, and it reinvent everything. Yeah, uh, definitely this changed the job landscape. When I was in secondary school, when teachers or my parents asked me what I want to do after graduating from university, normally me and my friend, we will maybe just talk about to become an engineer or maybe accountant, lawyer, doctor, and something like that. But now the job that appears now and definitely in 5-10 years, um, and in next 5 to 10 years is going to be very different. So in terms of job landscape, we can see that millions of jobs have been lost to automation. However, due to the technological advances, it also create new jobs. That's why due to this fourth industrial revolution and the digital disruption, the landscape of job is very different, and you need to prepare for this different kind of jobs. That's why in terms of skills, in order for students to get this new job, you also need to have certain skills. That is very important, especially in terms of robotics, machine learning, that will create new jobs and change the skills that employees need from human workers. And as you can see, according to World Economic Forum, the top 15 skills that are needed by future workforce. The first one is analytical thinking and innovation. Second one, active learning and learning strategies, and then followed by complex problem solving, critical thinking and analysis, creativity, originality and initiative, leadership and social influence, technology use, monitoring and control, technology design and programming. And you can also see that we also need skills such as resilience, can tolerate stress, can be very flexible, can become very reasonable, can solve problem, and something that need you to really think. So what you need to do now, or to ensure that you can get skills that you must get, is the ability to think, especially the analytical thinking part, and also you need to become more creative and innovative. So with this kind of skills, you can do whatever job that will come in the future, even though we don't know the what what that job is. We don't know the name of that job. We don't know what we need to do with this new job that will arise. But with this kind of skills, you especially the students now, you can do any job that will come. So this is what need to be done, need to be prepared now. You need to equip yourself with this kind of skills, and definitely this will help you in your future. And you can also see you can also to ensure that you can get all these skills. You're taking part in this kind of activity, such as this Olympiad, is actually a very good activity that will definitely help you to equip yourself with this kind of skills. Yep, Puan Maryam. That's it for the first round. I think you are muted. You are muted.
So what I can conclude from your comment, your first comment on the view of this forum is about preparing the students with certain skills required for the future, for the IR 4.0, which includes problem solving, critical and analytical thinking, coding, and the robotics. So, what is the opinion from Mr. Raymond about the 4IR and how it will impact the future of our workforce in Malaysia? Yes, Mr. Raymond.
Thank you very much, Miriam. First of all, I would like to give my big thanks to the organizer for having me here. I'm really glad and honored to be here with all today. And when we talk about what is IR 4.0 basically and how it will impact the future of work, uh, as we can see on the screen on the slide, as the world see from the 18th century until today, the 21st century, people have experienced four different levels of industrial revolutions, which starts with water and steam engine technology, moving into the introduction of electricity, gas, water, and roads. And in the late 20th century, electronic and complex machinery has been introduced. Now, in the 21st century, as what we call as the fourth industrial revolution, everything is mobile and smart with robots working at us side by side in the cyber physical system. Humans also have to transform, if not evolve, into a super smart society. Next slide. Next slide. Yep. And while the world advanced very fast, that many of us couldn't catch up and cope with the latest advanced technology, if STEM education is not being emphasized in schools and applied in daily life, from hunting society in the early age of human existence into the agrarian society who plans to live, the world has gone through massive changes in terms of technology towards the end of 18th century, in which industrial society began to establish. Later in the 20th century, with information technology, the world has become boundaryless, borderless, and interconnected to each other, which created the information society. And in this 21st century, country like Japan has shifted into very intelligent and smart society, in which they call society 5.0, where humans live in a very smart environment with everything is IoT based, robotic based, and life routine being algorithm set by artificial intelligence. Next slide. That is why STEM education is very essential and very important. Beside IR 4.0, digital disruption, which results in the changes of the world's economic landscape, the Internet of Things or IoT, the new and futuristic jobs landscape, and fresh sets of skills outlook have the world in need, basically, of future-ready graduates, especially in the field of STEM, to be the workforce in the new world set up. Next slide. Let's look at the job landscape this year of about 133 million jobs, which required new and fresh sets of skills, mostly on the cyber physical system, artificial intelligence, and digital analytics, that are yet to be fulfilled in the context of current and ready pool of talent that we have, particularly in this country, Malaysia. Next slide. And when we look at the skills outlook, it is all about the skills that can be developed through STEM education activities, such as being analytical, innovate, being creative, critical thinker, and have and becoming a complex problem solver, and having active involvement in ideation and having high EQ. Now, in the next slide, let we have a look on a video about the future of work, where everything is all about intelligence and smart system of life. Next slide. Yeah. All right. Based on the video that have been shown just now, that is how basically in the Industrial Revolution 4.0 will have a very big impact on the future of works, in which human not only need to be competitive among them, but they also in one day they need to be competing with the robots and artificial intelligences, in which their EQ is the only one that they have as advantage in comparison to all these robots and the cyber system, in which will be the directive for the humans to basically control the robots and also the artificial intelligences. And now, when we look at the demand of STEM talent in our country, Malaysia, across several NKAs, emerging technologies and R&D activities, the critical needs of STEM talent in Malaysia can be seen through critical application list, COL, report published by Talent Corp, and the Institute of Labor Market Information and Analysis, ILMIA, which identify 58 types of jobs that have simple and high proficiency, demand exceeding supply, and strategy for economic development in 18 key economic sectors. Out of the 58 types of work, most of them are jobs in STEM fields. That is why STEM education initiative in Malaysia need to be accelerated in a way that we can actually achieve our outcome and goals in developed countries around the world. Next slide. It is expected that 75%, next slide, of the future jobs, we require skills and knowledge in STEM fields. This is a report based on a report by University of Sydney in 2017, and innovation and knowledge sharing by the mobile internet, big data, and the Internet of Things, IoT, have changed the global socioeconomic landscape as a whole. At the same time, mega trends such as rapid urbanization, demographic shifts, and the discovery of new technologies or technological breakthroughs contributed to major change in world economic culture and the concept, system, and organization of labor in developed countries. It should be the slides before this. Yep, it's not this one. This change in the landscape has caused the ability to compete in the global market to depend on the proficiency and mastery in various fields of technology, especially 12 areas of disruptive technology applications such as mobile internet, knowledge-related work automation, and IoT. And we are actually in dire need of having a talent pool that basically can be the human capital to be the supply of the workforce in the STEM-related field. I mean, we look at the context of Malaysia and every state in Malaysia as well. But I believe that through STEM in the compound of the perhaps in their own house with the parents and community, with every stakeholders hand in hand working together, we believe that with the potential that we have based on the psychometric data and based on the inclination and tendency of students towards STEM education, we can actually achieve the aim of having more students into the STEM enrollment and basically becoming the future-ready graduates in the tertiary education in STEM field. And to answer back the question on how Industrial Revolution 4.0 will impact the future of work, is that we couldn't just be waiting and looking at other countries moving forward, advances very fast, while we are still basically perhaps in IR 2.0 perhaps or 3.0, and we need to leapfrog basically to be on par with them. And this can be materialized through a STEM education initiative. Madam Maryam.
Looking at the video just now, Mr. Raymond, which a little bit frightens me because
Thank
it
you.
seems that
Back
in
to
the
you, Madam
future,
Maryam.
in the future, it's like every manpower is being replaced slowly by these robots. And as what we can perceive today, the use of drone in every presentation, in every way of handling our things, the use of IoT is actually showing us that the robots are doing very well without the help of humans. So what will be what will become to our workforce in Malaysia, especially if we talk about the occupations? What are the critical occupations or top skills required in the top sectors? What is your opinion on this, Dr. Ihsan?
Thank you, Madam Moderator. Yeah, actually, based on what Mr. Raymond mentioned just now, we know that most of the jobs will be replaced by robot. Most of the jobs can be automated. However, doesn't mean that we are going to lose all the jobs. Doesn't mean that we don't have any jobs to do, because according to World Economic Forum, the number of the new job created versus the job that we lost, it is actually a deficit, meaning more job will are being created as compared to the job we lost. Yeah? So don't worry about jobs, even though we might be thinking that we cannot do anything now because all the jobs will be done automatically or by robots, but there are a lot of other things that can be done. However, in Malaysia, I think we are not there yet. We are still a bit behind, and based on talent report from Talent Corp about our critical occupation jobs, the critical occupation. First, before I talk about what are the critical occupations, what are the most needed jobs in Malaysia currently, let us look at the definition of critical occupation. So there are three criteria used in order to get the list of this critical occupation. First, they look at the skill. Secondly, whether there is any shortage or not with the job, and thirdly, whether that job is strategic or not. So three criteria: skill, shortage, strategic. For skill, it must be mid skill and above, mid and high skill. For the low skill one, even though we might also not don't have enough workers for that, but they are not considered as critical occupation. And for shortage, must be demand exceed supply. And in terms of strategic, it is actually central to economic development. So by using these three criteria, Talent Corp come up with a list of critical occupation in Malaysia in 2020. The latest one, I think they haven't produced it yet, but the one that I'm showing you today is the one from 2020. Okay, let's go to the next slide, please. So based on the three criteria that I've just talked about, these are the top skills that we need, and we are actually a lack of them. We are lack of workers in this job that require these skills. The first one is related to the jobs, for example, mechanical engineering, SQL, coding, chemistry, planning, project management, etc. Yeah, that are just some example, but the one that is being shown here we are actually very critical in this kind of skills. You can see there, coding is one of them. And in the future, we are going to need more and more people who can do coding. Secondly, communication skills. Even though this is not related to STEM, but communication skills is actually needed by all kind of jobs. So we must be very good in communicating, especially in English. So that's why the third one is English language. Then fourth one is teamwork and collaboration, and number 5 is Microsoft Excel or Microsoft Office. So these are top skills that are needed, and sadly, even though this seem to be quite maybe normal and not too difficult to get, but we are lacking of workforce with this kind of skills. Yeah. Okay, next slide, please. And in terms of sectors, the critical one, the first one is definitely ICT, information and communication technology. So this is very important now. We need a lot of people with computer science background. We need a lot of people who are able to do digital job, job with their skills in digital. However, we really lack this kind of workforce. This kind of skills, especially in this sector, we don't have enough. Maybe people will question, for example, they said that we have a lot of graduates who cannot find works. They are engineers. They might be, I'm not sure, maybe most of the time I heard that a lot of engineers, they find it hard to find jobs, but maybe they don't have certain specific skills that are needed by the employers or in the industry. Yeah? But definitely ICT is the most critical one at the moment. And secondly, professional, scientific and technical activities. Yeah? Thirdly, manufacturing, and then financial and insurance, takaful activities, construction, wholesale and retail trade, and of course, agriculture, forestry and fishing. Most of the workers that are needed for these sectors, they are actually low skill, but now we in this era of 4IR, we also can use technology to upgrade this industry, this agriculture, forestry, fishing. We need people, we need technology, so we need people with very highly skilled in technology in order to upgrade this industry. In agriculture, for example, now we use drone to help us in agriculture. And in order to use the drone, we need people who are able to pilot the drone. So we are lacking in this kind of skills, in this kind of manpower. We don't have enough drone pilot. For drone, when if the weight of the drone is more than 11 kilogram, it is compulsory for us to use drone pilot. Yeah. So, and in agriculture, especially when we use drone, the drone is something that is actually huge and very heavy. That's why we need a drone pilot. So these are the top sectors that we, in Malaysia, it is critical. They are critical. We don't have enough workers. Next. Next slide. Okay, why it is hard for the employers to get workers for those sectors and for those skills. The first one is too few applicants or no applicant at all. This is according to Talent Corp Malaysia. Too few applicants or no applicant at all. Why we have very few or no applicant? Because we don't have workers with the background that we need, especially with the technical background. So that's why they don't even bother to apply, because they know that they are not, we don't have the skills for that. Secondly, maybe some of the job seekers, they have the skills, they have the background, but they lack the relevant job experience. Maybe we will say that how can they get experience if they are not being given the opportunity to work? Actually, while they are doing their degree, while they are studying, they can get the experience by maybe doing some part-time or internship, or they can go for certain skilling, yes, a certain certification that will enhance their skills. Thirdly, applicants lack the required technical skills. So this is also very important, because if we just follow whatever course that we do at the university, maybe we don't have the specific technical skills that are needed by the industry. That's why while doing the courses, it is good for students to go beyond what they are learning in the university to get some certification that will definitely boost their CV or their resume. Yeah, this is number four. What when I talk about the certification, number four, the reason why it is hard to fill all those jobs or the sectors, applicants lack the required credentials or certification. So based on these four reasons given by Talent Corp Malaysia, it is advisable for our students, whether you are still at the secondary schools or if you have further your study at the university level, you must go beyond what you are studying at the university. You must try to get more skills outside what you are learning in the university. You must try to get more credential and also certification. And Maryam, that's it from me for the second one.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Ihsan. On your views about the top sectors, the critical top sectors, I can see that education is not in the list. What I think is that education is actually the most crucial thing, the most crucial sector to provide our current students, to provide our current teachers with the necessary skills to mold the students towards the way. So this is actually what I think is most important before other sectors. But then again, the teachers of today is I think too attached to the syllabus, attached to the curriculum in their individual discipline. What I think is that the most important thing is to see STEM as one instead of using it as individual. And to that, I would like to hear from Mr. Raymond on the STEM activities which are important and how to implement STEM education in the classroom. Could you respond to that, Mr. Raymond? To implement STEM education.
Yeah. Yes, Madam Moderator. I think I'm muted. Hello. Yes,
I
Madam
can hear you.
Moderator.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
it's very true indeed that education sector is one of the biggest, what we call as uh, section in which can actually mold cast and actually, designated the ideal set of human capital that we wanted, and one of the big yeah, and one of the major approach that we look as very essential and vital is through STEM education initiatives. And this is actually due to the new era of learning, which is in the 21st century, in which students nowadays have different mindsets and outlook. And we look at the students basically those in the formative years of learning, which is those in the primary schools, are actually those in the alpha generations, and their brothers and elder brothers and sisters in secondary schools, we call them as the Z generation. And And this Alpha and Z generation, they have different expectation. They have different what we call it way of thinking, different way of reacting, and different set of interests and skills that they look up for. And these generations, based on the literature, are actually very kinesthetic. Their retention time of paying attention in the classroom is merely less than 10 minutes. So they're actually eager and keen and into visualization, interactive, hands-on activities, and things that can actually fulfill their dire curiosity. And this can be introduced to them through IBSE or inquiry-based science education that we were going to talk about later. So teachers basically need to evolve and change the way of to teach to meet the students' learning styles and needs. So the teachers basically need to not only to upgrade themselves, they need to be very alert and they need to be very dynamic in a way that they can actually transform throughout the method of the conventional and all method, perhaps the conservative methods that they have used to back in the 70s and 80s. And to stay relevant, they need to cope up with the new teaching techniques, strategies, approaches, and also methodologies. And a high-tech, fast-paced, connected world makes the teacher needs to change faster and develop new teaching skills, in which STEM education has provided through lots of workshops and courses that has been given to the teachers, like what I mentioned just now, IBSE, and coming up, we're going to have IBME, inquiry-based mathematics education, in which providing a wide range of alternatives on how to basically address the needs of this so-called alpha generation in the formative years of learning in primary school, and also the Z generation in the secondary school right now. So STEM education promotes problem solving, critical thinking, creativity, collaboration, communication, and time management, and also adaptability for them to basically becoming competitive and resilient. And when we look at the time management skills, this is just a mere sharing from what we have studied into with the Russian SPM examination. And when the Ministry of Education introduced back the individual experiments, science practical works for subjects like biology, physics, and chemistry, and the of these three subjects, continuously. And what we experience control the time management accordingly within the given period of time, and they might be able to finish completely the first and the second experiment, but when it comes to the third one, let's say the third one would be biology, they couldn't manage to complete it. So basically time management is also very essential basically for or not only students but also for everyone in order to be to cope with the Industrial Revolution 4.0. And this is actually to prepare students for the 21st century education. Future generations need to be equipped with the necessary knowledge, skills, and abilities in order to meet the challenges of future technological advancement and developments. So mastery in the STEM field will produce a workforce that can actually solve problems, think critically, be creative, and have skills in the field of technology. So this is critical to ensure that the country have always have qualified and STEM human capital. Next slide, please. Next slide. All right. Next slide, please. Yep. So a conducive environment and system for the learning of STEM education in schools, especially through the basic fundamental principle of pure science subjects, such as biology, chemistry, and physics, via science practical works, experiments, investigation, inquiry-based learning, problem-based learning, and project-based learning is very essential in order to produce future-ready students and graduates. And this can be actually be done in the classroom, also in the science laboratory, through STEM interactive activities being conducted by the teachers. Because STEM education promotes hands-on and integrate, and it is actually integrated, and it creates opportunity for students to actually think analytically, critically, and all that. Since then, as we all can see on the screen, the government through the Ministry of Education Malaysia has provided and implemented various activities, programs, and workshops for the students and teachers. These initiatives are divided into three approaches. The first one will be formal, followed by non-formal and informal. And when we talk about formal activities, it is actually referring to STEM activities which are conducted in a formal setup, like in teaching and learning process in the classroom, and also remedial activities in the classroom, reinforcement activities in the classroom, and of course, enrichment activities as well. While non-formal are actually referring to co-curriculum activities or extracurricular activities, which are conducted through, example, STEM clubs, competitions, quizzes, games, tournament, and challenges. Different type of challenge. Last but not least, informal. So informal activities are quite unique, in which it is actually activities which are conducted independently outside the school with perhaps fellow friends, parents, and community, or even individually. For example, like playing STEM games online, watching STEM TV, reality programs, and reading STEM comics. Next slide. Next slide, please. So basically, STEM education also promote 7 skills that students will always need in the 21st century. And this is also can be inculcated through the teaching and learning process in the classroom, through the activities, and through the what we call as the exploration and discovery process that the teachers facilitated in the classroom. Next slide, please. Students should also be curious, having lots of imaginations, be able to lead in taking initiative, and have the sense of entrepreneurship when doing projects and having producing new products. And this is very essential, in which we can actually see our graduates who are unable to secure jobs. I mean, a permanent basis kind of job with the public and private sectors. If they do have strong foundationship in terms of the entrepreneurship skills, they can actually come out with new social enterprises based on their inclination and tendency towards which area of field of that they actually incline into. For example, if they are really like into let's say STEM oriented kind of activities, they can actually come out with STEM oriented social enterprises basically. And these are the very essential basically skills, which is entrepreneurship just now that I mentioned, in order for them to move forward, not only depending on securing a job on a permanent basis or in a stable type of condition, which is not really challenging to be competitive in local and global what we call setup right now. And they need to be really agile as well. Still in the previous slides, the 7 skills just now, still in this previous slide, they need to be really agile and adaptive in order to stay competitive and be dynamic to face the challenges in the 21st century, and always think critically to solve problems and issues in daily life, local context and global context, be effective in both oral and written communication, in order to be presentable, and the ability to express feeling, articulate and elaborate on ideas and thoughts excellently. So actually we are still in the previous slide, which is the 7 skills I have not touch on the several other skills. I mean the bottom three skills, and students should be also be able to create and establish new networking, establish new relationship, connection, and collaboration across networks, and leading by influence to widen their coverage range, radius, and scale of work, knowledge, skills, and thoughts globally. Last but not least, the ability to assess, analyze, and evaluate information precisely and accurately, as if they are doing vetting process for important decision making. This level of cognitive maturity is essential for the current generation to keep up the pace of the IR 4.0, and this can be achieved through holistic STEM education. Though we're talking about this level of cognitive maturity, it is actually workable, and it is proven basically even as early as in the formative years of learning in the primary school, in which we can actually see the potential of students who are actually have the ability to present themselves, doing pitching in very heavy topics of like politics or economics or social kind of a thing, in a 3 minutes pitching, as young as 9, 10 years old, and we have experienced this through several activities and STEM competition in which they can actually articulate and elaborate on their ideas, and have the ability to basically dissect the important information and statistics regarding the things that they are presented. So, but the numbers of these potential students currently are still very small, and the idea is to enlarge it. So, next slide. Through STEM activities as well, teacher can promote and inculcate essential qualities of successful students, all right, such as high curiosity and the attitude of willing to learn, the love of learning, and a good reader, high self-confidence, very self-motivated, good in communication and social skills, not afraid of making mistakes, and being active participants in whatever activities, group work, tasks, and competition. This can be produced by practicing and practicing and practicing and
Hello. Okay. I would like to quote Mr. Raymond, which is your views is very interesting, especially on the STEM education initiatives. As we can see from your slides, um, the list of initiatives are so mouthful, so a lot. Okay, like for example, IBSE and IBME, those. Inquiry-based science education and mathematics education, the one that is actually running on our country in every state, IBME especially, we're done with the inquiry-based science education. The SKY, the STEM education, and the non-formal STEM club and mentor-mentee program. A lot of these initiatives somehow, as what we can see from the participation of students and teachers, we can see some pattern in a way that we will be seeing the same group of team, the same group of students and teachers who get involved in the competition, and the same group of teachers will be awarded with the same kind of STEM, rewards, and I think this needs to be changed. I mean, the flow of the initiatives from top to bottom in terms of participations, in terms of initiating the interest among our students, need to be directly channeled to our students in terms of to ignite their passion, their interest on this STEM, what we call STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, as one unit. Okay, because at school level, especially daily schools, the interest among the students on this is so specialized to certain group of classes, which handle which is science stream, pure science stream students. So regarding this, I would like to hear from Dr. Ihsan about our preparation for our students to be ready for the IR 4.0 regarding the STEM activities which the teachers give them, give the skills atau or I mean like more to prepare them in the co-curricular activity so that their interest is towards the STEM activities, towards the STEM future jobs and which is related to IR 4.0. Yes, Dr. Ihsan?
Thank you, Madam Moderator. Very good question. Yeah, of course, there are a lot of people out there who sort of question why we put so much focus on STEM education when in actual fact, we also need our students to not just focus on STEM but to other field as well. And even though we have tried so hard to instill the interest to get more students to be in STEM stream or science, especially pure science stream, but we couldn't see the result yet. So there must be something wrong somewhere. However, like what we have seen in the previous slides about 4IR, Fourth Industrial Revolution, this is actually very related to STEM education. And when we say STEM education, it is not just for pure science subject, but it can cover all subjects. But first of all, how to prepare our students for 4IR? First, we need to redefine the purpose of education. So when we send our kids to school, or when you yourself go to school, what is the purpose of going to school? I asked my daughter after she completed her SPM Form 5 and she went to matriculation college. And actually not just me, the lecturers asked their all matriculation students what they want to do after they graduate and why they come to matriculation college after SPM. Actually, most of the students, they don't even know why they go to matriculation college and what they going to do in the university, what fields they are going to learn at the university. Why? Because they don't have the what we call the real purpose of going to school, the purpose of education itself. Why? Because most of the time, especially this is getting more and more significant nowadays, where parents especially we push our kids to excel in examination, go to school, study hard to get excellent result in examination. So they thought they go to school just to get excellent result in examination. That's why they really push for that. They study all out to get straight A or maybe straight A plus. But why? Why they need to get A plus or A? So this is what we need to really have a relook at the purpose of education. Actually, when we send our kids to school, we want them to learn, to get the skills so that they can use the skill in their life, in their daily life, in real world. Not just to get excellent result in examination, but then they don't even use whatever they have learned and they don't know how to use them. That's why what more important is for our kids to learn something that they can use to ensure that they can live better in this world. So the first one, redefine the purpose of education. And definitely STEM is very important. So to prepare students for 4IR, we need to improve STEM education. Currently, I think when we say STEM education, mostly we just focus on students who are taking pure science at the Form 4 and Form 5 level. But what about students at the primary school and also lower secondary level? Actually, STEM education is not limited to pure science subject only, but all subject can be STEM related, because uh, everything that we do in this world, they have a scientific re- uh, related to scientific matter. Yeah? So that's why any subject, anything that we do, we actually are trying to help our kids to get the skills to solve problem in this world, and we can inculcate this in all subjects, not just pure science subject, all subject, and relate all the subject to STEM, so that they can use or they can develop the skills to uh, to solve problems better. They know how to use whatever they have learned in the classroom, and then they can use that to solve real world problems. Yeah? So meaning what we need to do is to improve STEM education in terms of we need to understand that STEM education involve all subjects, involve all teachers, all students, not just certain particular teachers and students. Thirdly, develop human potential. So this in this case, we need workforce or students or graduates who are not just have skills in whatever studies that they have gone through, but they must also have soft skill. This soft skill will definitely will become more important as when they go to when they do or they have work, and they want to whatever they need to be done. With these soft skills, they can do that better. Yeah. And number four, adapt to lifelong learning models. Okay, I'm sure when we graduated from maybe first degree or even master and PhD, we thought that we have reached the end of our learning journey. Now that is not that is just the thing of the past. Meaning, after we have we got our degree, doesn't mean that we cannot learn anymore. It doesn't mean that we have learned everything and we don't have to learn or to get new knowledge anymore. Because every day there are a lot of new knowledge being created. So we need to keep on learning, especially the teachers, or even officers at the ministry, at the State Department of Education, and also everywhere. We need to keep on learning and improve our knowledge. Number five, alter teacher training. So now we need to focus more on how to use the current technology in ensuring that we can teach our students better. As mentioned by John Dewey, if we need to teach our students, today's students, with what they need now, not what's with what we have learned before or yesterday. If we do that, then we rob them of their future. So we need to alter the way uh, we train our teachers, so that we can also utilize all the new technologies that are currently available to improve the teaching and learning process. Number six is very important. Make schools maker spaces. Meaning we have a space where students can tinker, they can do things to solve problem, or to maybe they have certain thing that need to be solved, so they can use this place to discuss with their friend, to tinker around, and then come up with some kind of solution. So I'm sure SBP maybe really go into this area, where we provide space for our students to think and to come up with solution that will make our life better. Number seven is international mindfulness. So with this digital era, we can connect with people from all around the world. So we cannot just focus on what is among us physically, but we can also connect with people from other countries, and we also need to ensure that students not just know whatever they can see around them, but the one that they maybe cannot see in wherever they live, but they also need to know that. So when we talk about curriculum, for example, maybe in curriculum, in some of the exam question, there are something about things that are already only exist in big cities like KL, for example. Some people will say that it is not fair for students who are in maybe really remote area where they don't have the opportunity to experience or to see whatever new things or new development in big city like KL. But actually, we cannot just let this remote area of students to learn about whatever they can see in their daily life. We also must expose them to things that they cannot see, but they might encounter them when they go outside of their area. And number 8 is change higher education. I don't want to talk more about this because I'm sure we know in at the higher level education, we need to ensure that we are preparing our students to meet the demand by the industry. Next. And I think this one has been explained in detail by Mr. Raymond in terms of why STEM activities are important. Definitely by doing STEM activities correctly, we can develop students in skills such as critical thinking, communication, collaboration, problem solving, creativity, and so on. Next slide. So how can we implement STEM education in the classroom? I think this one has also been explained by Mr. Raymond, where we need to do more project-based learning, problem-based learning, and also inquiry-based learning. And we are trying to do that now with a lot of programs to keep our teachers first with all the skills so that they can do this activity in their classroom. However, I'm sure we will have constraints such as we don't have enough time, we need to prepare for SPM, for example, for those in Form 4 and Form 5. But actually, what we need to do now is we have to change our mindset. Maybe not all, but maybe some of us think that in order to get excellent result in examination, especially in SPM, we cannot waste or we cannot spend more time on doing things, but we need to focus more on covering everything in the syllabus and then do rote learning or drilling to prepare for examination. I think actually that one is not good because even though we might increase the performance of our students a little bit in examination, but in the long term or in actual fact, they don't really learn much by doing that method. So if we do project-based learning, problem-based learning, and inquiry-based learning, they can learn even better, they can learn more, and they can get even better result in examination. And not just that, they will remember this, I don't know, maybe forever, because when they do things, they can understand better and they will remember better. If we just drill them to answer exam question, they might get good results, but after examination, they will forget everything. Next. Okay, how a good STEM lesson should be what? Should be hands-on, mimic real life scenarios, and integrate maths and science into projects seamlessly. So all of this can be done from the project-based, from problem-based, and also inquiry-based lesson. Next. And another very important things to do in the teaching and learning process is to use engineering design process. So when we do problem solving or inquiry-based and also project-based, we can inculcate this process, engineering design process, to our students in doing the project or in trying to solve problems. We can start with us. The first step is us, and then do the research to get the answer to the questions, uh, and they can come up with solution to whatever problem that they have. But in order to produce the solution, they must imagine first, then plan, create, test, and then improve. So this is the cycle in engineering design process that we can inculcate to among our students. And by having this kind of activities, they are going to be better in terms of solving problems, in terms of come up with new innovation, in terms of making their life better. Next. Okay, I think that's it for this one. Back to Madam Moderator.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Ihsan. That is very interesting, especially on the making our students as the true problem solver in their daily lives. And especially, I would like to focus on the STEM education improvement and make schools as maker spaces. So, make schools as maker spaces is actually so relevant to the current education. When we talk about the PAK 21st century education, when all the activities set in the classroom is all collaborative learning, and also involving presentation, preparing the students to communicate whatever that they have discovered, whatever that they have concluded to the whole class. This is actually a very, very interesting approach for the students to get the skills that we aim for them, which is communication skills. So, due to this, I would like to hear from Mr. Raymond about the government strategies in education at school level and at state or district level in order to inculcate the students with the necessary skills in communication and in problem solving. Would you like to comment on that, Mr. Raymond? Mr. Raymond? Hi,
Yes,
Mr.
yes,
Raymond.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Hopefully that my I'm having this problem with internet connectivity here, with the network being not stable, and yet we are talking about Industrial Revolution 4.0. So it's a bit irony, and that is one of the basically obstacle and hurdles that we have in this eastern part of Malaysia. However, to respond to your question just now, when you asked about having maker spaces in schools. It is a very ideal idea to have at least one maker space. It doesn't have to be a dedicated room, but if we have some space basically we can actually provide that space with some of the essential tools like a 3D printer or 3D pen, and perhaps some drones and some robot for the students to actually experience coding and programming, and also designing 3D products and projects. That is very beneficial impact what we call as interpersonal skills,
Interpersonal.
become entrepreneur in
Entrepreneur.
the very near future, not depending on career securing on jobs and all that. And back to the question just now about guides on the screen, my slide. The government through the Ministry of Education Malaysia, yeah, through the Ministry of Education Malaysia have outlined holistic strategies support the STEM education initiative. These include measures to stimulate student interest through an enhanced curriculum and new learning approaches, which includes EDP in what has been elaborated by Dr. Ihsan earlier on, which is the engineering design process. And another measure is sharpens teachers' skills and abilities to teach and facilitate STEM subjects and activities. Again, we are talking about teachers being transformative and dynamic and able to adapt changes in the rapid pace of technology advancement in order to cope with the needs and expectation of this alpha generation and the Z generation in the schools right now. Another measures is also on building parents, community, and public's awareness and understanding of STEM education. So the parents, public, and community needs to on why STEM education is very vital in order to give support and also working hand in hand, basically in terms of pertinent to STEM education outside of the school. Next slide, please. So in this strategy by the government, by the education, there are 4 target groups in this strategy, right? And which has different focus and specific aims. For students, the focus is to increase their interest and to identify and fulfill their tendency and inclination towards STEM. While for teachers, the focus is to upgrade their skills and ability, especially with the new teaching approach, technique, strategy, and methodology. While for school leaders, it is vital for them to comprehend thoroughly all the policies on STEM education so that they can lead and support the initiative in their respective schools. The 4th target group is parents and community, in which it is very important that they have the awareness of the importance of STEM education so that they can support their children at home and outside the schools, pertinent to STEM activities and programs. So basically, these are the quadrant, basically the 4 strategy in which the government have strategized on with specific focus and aims to enable the holistic ecosystem for the betterment of STEM education in Malaysia. So next slide, please.
It's mute.
Another slide on KSSM. I've elaborated on these target groups just now. Next slide.
The next one,
It is the
maybe.
slide on KSSM, the curriculum standard. Yes, this one. So another government strategy for STEM education in Malaysia is that by introducing the newly designed, newly English, the standard curriculum of secondary school, in which it was introduced in 2017 to provide future-ready curriculum. This is a future-ready curriculum for secondary schools with achievable sets of standards. All right, and can we have back the slide after this, the slide after the target group? So basically, the curriculum that we use right now, the syllabus that we use right now for secondary school, both primary and secondary schools, is a upgraded curriculum in which has been designed to be on par with all the curriculum around the world, and this is to ensure that we have the same standard of curriculum and syllabus with the rest of the world, especially the advanced country. And it is also been what we call as aligned with the what we call OECD's level, especially in preparing our students for TIMSS and PISA, so that let's say our students are 15-year-old who are sitting for TIMSS or sitting for PISA, they have the equal standard of input from the curriculum that they've learned in the classroom. So this curriculum is again, like I mentioned just now, is the new and future-ready curriculum for secondary school with achievable set of standards. All right, it comprises knowledge, skills, and values tailored for the secondary school students. It is also designed to enhance students' learning to go beyond acquiring communication skill, self-development by embracing the use of it's the previous slide. It's the previous slide. Still in KSSM. Sorry about about that.
Mr. Raymond, I think due to time, we have to
Yeah, focusing
entertain
on the
some
students'
questions
physical,
from, yes,
emotional, spiritual, and
from the
aesthetical
audience.
development. This helped to nurture STEM literate students who are capable of critical thinking, adapt at using technology, have the skills to solve problems, innovate, create new ideas, design or invent new products. All right, next slide. All right, next slide, please. Next one. So we're going to see on the scaffolding process, which is one of the very essential strategies. All right. So for future-ready students and graduates, the scaffolding process to build a solid foundation of the basic fundamental principle of STEM education should start as early as the preschool and kinder level. We're talking about the scaffolding. The next slides, please. Next slide on scaffolding. we have talked about KSSM just now. It's the next slide, the one with pink background.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Raymond. So I think we have to continue with the questions from from the audience. Yes, admin, do you have questions from this one audience? Okay, the first one, Sherlock Holmes. Okay.
Can we have the slide of
Welcome, Sherlock
subfolding?
Holmes. Okay, greetings, sir. Considering the fact that even a little kid can now control drones as they are available for mass usage,
Or maybe the next slide, the last slide, which is about
why
stream
do we
education.
need to hire additional pilots? Wouldn't that be a wastage of resources? Okay. This Mr. Sherlock Holmes, the original or the
The slide
copy
is not
one,
moving, or
the
perhaps it's
question,
just me
yeah,
who having the internet
yes, we can understand that. That
setback
is
here.
why that I hope the person who is
Can we move to
asking
the
this
next slide?
question,
Next slide, next.
okay,
All right, sure.
who would like to respond? Yes,
Fair
yes.
enough. We can open up for
Uh,
questions from the audience. Thank you.
all right.
Thank you, Madam Moderator.
Yeah, this is actually due to the lag. Kenyalang is like too far away from the mainland. Okay. Who would like to respond to this Sherlock Holmes question? Could you display
Yeah,
once again the
yeah.
question?
Let me
You get the
respond to it.
question, Dr. Ihsan. Okay, thank you, Dr.
Yes.
Ihsan.
Okay, so yeah, of course it is quite easy for everybody to fly drone, but when come to industrial level drone, or the one that I mentioned earlier with 11 kilo and above, we need a specific pilot for that, because it is not easy and it will endanger other people if we don't control who can fly the drone. So it is actually compulsory for those who want to fly to become drone pilot to have a license, because uh, the drone pilot can controls the drone, causing it to take off, to stay on course and land safely. And if we don't use pilot with a license to do this, we might um, cause something which is accident, for example, then it will be very dangerous to other people. That's why, even though we can see that anybody can fly drone, especially the small one, but for commercial purpose or even personal purpose, if it is big, more than 11 kilos, it is compulsory to have license, and that's why we need drone pilot.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Ihsan. Any more question from the audience, admin?
I think there is one more.
Okay, Mr. Kamarul Azman Abdul Salam. The question is, how curriculum content status currently? I mean, is it quite enough to fulfill job industry?
Mm-hmm.
He's asking
Okay,
about the curriculum.
let me try to answer this one as well.
Okay.
Of course, what we are doing now at the school level is to give a basic skills to our students, so that when they go to tertiary level, they already have a very good basic to further their studies in whatever field that they want. So definitely the curriculum that we have now, to me, is more than enough. It's very good enough. Maybe even too much for in certain aspect, but definitely this will give our students the basic that they need in order for them to further their studies in any specific field that they want. When we talk about industry, actually it is more of preparing our tertiary level students with what is needed by the industry. But at the school level, we must ensure that they have the skills that is very important when they go to the tertiary level. And when I said a very important skill, the number one skill that we must equip our students is the skill to think analytically and also critically, and they must also become innovative and creative.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Ihsan. Our forum is actually going to reach the end of the time. Okay, before we end this forum, I would like everyone from the panel to conclude your views on this STEM and employment in IR 4.0. I would like to start with Mr. Raymond. Mr. Raymond, hello?
Lagging.
Laggy, yeah. Ah, Dr. Ihsan, since you are nearer, would you like to
Okay.
take?
Okay. Please go to my last slide. I'm going to conclude my presentation here today by presenting my last slide. This is not mine. My last, I think this one is Raymond's slide. Yeah, this one. The role of school in STEM education. Yeah, the next one. Okay, so now we know that STEM is education is very important for future generation. We need to inculcate the interest among our students to be more passionate with STEMs. In order to do that, we have to show them what they can do when they have skills in STEM. So, for this, actually, when we do our teaching and learning process in the classroom, we must inspire our students into STEM careers. So when they learn something in mathematics and science, in physics, chemistry, biology, we must relate it to the jobs that they can do with the skills or the knowledge that they have. Definitely, it is not enough yet, but that is just as a foundation for them when they go to the tertiary level. So, what very important thing is to inspire our students into STEM careers. Yeah? That's why even though we have very excellent students with straight A plus or even straight A's, but when we ask them what they want to do after they graduate or what they want to do in their tertiary level or at the university, they don't have any idea because they just focus on getting A's. We don't inspire them into STEM careers. So number one, we must inspire them or students into STEM careers or any other careers that they will able to do when they have these skills, especially the analytical thinking skill, the creativity and innovation. Okay. Secondly, when we teach subject related to STEM, we must use integrated STEM approach. So we cannot just focus on one particular subject, but we must integrate it with other subject seamlessly so that our students can utilize or use all skills that they learn from all subjects to do a project or to solve a problem. And then in terms of role of schools, we must have support from the administrators. I'm sure in STF, for example, we don't have this. We have a full support from the administrators. That's very good. Thank you so much. And because of that support, we have this event today. Yeah? Thirdly, we must do a lot of hands-on, minds-on activities in the teaching and learning of STEM subjects and also other subjects actually. So don't just focus on drilling our students
The moderator
to
is
get
very true.
good with an animation, but we also must
Yes,
do a
everyone
lot
can
of
hear me now.
hands-on
I think we have experienced
and
internet back
number
here.
5, we must involve all teachers,
Yeah,
not just
lagging. All
teachers
right,
who are
never mind.
teaching
Let me just
subject related to STEM, but also all teachers who are teaching other subject, language, for example, history, Islamic education. We must involve all teachers in STEM activities. And lastly, please involve all students in this activity. Yeah? For the last point here, um, maybe in school, the normal school, not the fully residential school. When we talk about STEM activities, normally some of the school, they just focus on students who are really good and they just want to, they just involve a certain number of students who can give results, good results to the schools. And other students, they cannot take part. So that is not good. We must ensure that all students can be given the opportunity to take part, so that they can get the skills, the knowledge that they really need in order for them to become successful in their life, especially in the future, so that they can survive and not just survive but excel in the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ihsan, for your insightful conclusion. I would like to quote certain things from what Dr. Ihsan had concluded, especially in the normal schools just now. It is like a daily schools. Daily schools will have many students from different streams. So I guess to get all the students involved, we don't necessarily label the project as or the program as STEM. We just go on with the activities with the title of the programs, which is closely related to the interests of the students. That way, everyone will get interested and everyone will get to try to participate in the program. Right at the end of the program, then you can tell the students those activities that you had done is actually STEM. So sometimes the students from at other streams other than science, pure science streams, they think STEM are too high for them, and it's not them that should be included in the program, you see. So they think that it is not for them, it is for other group of students. So for daily school, it is like that. The challenges that we face, the teachers to get participations from all streams is very, very challenging. So the trick to do it is not to label anything as far as involvement of students in collaborative activities is involved. So we don't really label the program as STEM. So we do the project first, then only we tell them that this is actually STEM activities. So with that, I would like to hear from our Mr. Kenyalang, which is always lost in contact. Mr. Raymond, would you like to continue to conclude this forum? Hello? Yeah, this is very challenging. Online forum is very challenging. Still reaching, Mr. Raymond? Struggling? I think I can hear some sounds. Lagging.
Maybe may the moderator conclude. Make more conclusion.
Yeah. Admin, is it okay if we end our forum today at this hour? Or we like to wait for Mr. Raymond? Oh, okay, so I think it is best for us to end our forum today. Thank you very much for the organizing committee, which is STF student teams, and especially the principal of STF, Hajah Nur Hayati Binti Yusof, and all the committee members. I would like to express my greatest gratitude for all the opportunities to be here. And it is a very insightful sharing from both our panels today, Dr. Ihsan and Mr. Raymond, despite of all the struggles and obstacles in communicating online. I hope everyone here, the audience, will get the best of a benefit from our forum, and really hope that whatever that we have discussed can be practiced at all platforms in our education system. With that, I, Maryam Ahmad Syah, would like to say thank you very much for all the participations, for all the interest, for all the participants who are here, and I wish you all the best in your competition, for all the winners and those who are so talented but not be able to be opted as the winners today. For me, you are all winners already because your participation shows your interest and your passion in STEM activities. And with that, I congratulate you. Thank you very much. Yes, admin, you can take over.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Maryam. I am sure everyone has had an informative session after listening to the panelists. I am grateful as well for the opportunity to be one of the witnesses of today's webinar. As the saying goes, to every beginning there is an ending, and now the webinar has come to its end. Once again, thank you everyone for gracing our event with your presence. We truly appreciate it. On behalf of the organizing committee, I would like to seek our sincere apology for any shortcomings throughout this event. Don't forget to watch our closing and award ceremony of Mayo 2022 tomorrow at 3 p.m. I end my duty as DMC for today with wabillahi taufiq wa hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.